Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Chilltown Hoops. I'm your host, Jermaine. The youngsters call me OG. My friends call me J-Dub. Let's get to it. So the last time I talked to you guys, we were talking about the Eastern Conference and the standings and where these guys are and what they have to do to get better next season. Well, I left off with the Boston Celtics, and I'm going to continue with the Miami Heat, who they have 6 unrestricted free agents. They're going to lose Ariza, Dragic, Oladipo, Nunn, Iguodala, Duncan Robinson. These 6 guys are all unrestricted free agents next season. So we got to figure out what we're going to do with this roster, because it looks like it's going to completely get flipped. You're obviously not going to bring everybody back, considering what happened in the playoffs last year. You got swept in the first round by Milwaukee, which means whatever you're doing, you're not close. Now, Robinson's going to cost a lot in free agency. He's probably going to command anywhere between $12 to $15 million. Now, is he worth that? That's a question that you're going to have to answer. I think that sharpshooters on the market, I don't think you're going to get a better one than him. But that price tag might be a little high. You got an option with Andre Iguodala this season at $15 million. I mean, he's 37 years old. He is a vet, and veteran leadership is huge on any playoff team, and you're going to need that. So do the Miami Heat bring him back at $15 million? Then you got Dragon, who I think Dragon is still serviceable. The question is what's going to be the price bringing him back? And how much can he contribute to this roster and to this team? How much can he contribute to this team moving forward? I don't know if he's going to hamper Tyler Hero's development, because Tyler Hero needs to play. He's still on his Rook deal. So he needs to play. You got Bam and Buckets under contract, so they're not going anywhere. And you can't hamper Hero's production and development on any level. He needs to be on the floor. So you got to make a decision on what you're going to do with Dragon. Victor Oladipo, I think the Miami Heat are going to let him walk. And the reason why they're going to let him walk, not because of his ability to play, but because, number one, he's coming off another major injury, and what he's going to cost. He might be a little much for them. So I think they're going to let him walk. I don't think they're going to let Kendrick Nunn walk. I think that he's going to end up staying with them. I think they're going to pay Kendrick Nunn. So I think Miami, they're in need for another rebounder, and they're in need for a younger playmaker. That's why I think they're going to lose Dragic, and they're going to end up going into the free agent market and getting themselves another playmaker on their second unit, because that's who Dragic is. That's who they're going to have to replace Dragic with. So then we have Washington, and Russ and Bradley Beal basically willed that team into the playoffs. But then you got guys like Hachimura, who, I mean, I watched him in the Olympics. I'm very interested to see his development and how he comes back. He's got to come back better. You know, because what they're doing, they're trying to make a push. If they're going to lose Bradley Beal, I mean, they got Russ under contract for 2 more seasons. And if they're going to lose Bradley Beal, there's no reason to keep Russ. And they might as well build around their young guys. They're going to lose Lopez in free agency. I don't know what they're going to do with Ish Smith. There's a question mark with Ish Smith, because Smith is solid coming off the bench. I like his game, and I think he's great in your rotation. I think he's a great rotation guy. The question is how much is he going to cost? And at what price can you keep him? That's what all of this boils down to. Because the salary cap in the NBA is huge. You know, what is it going to cost to keep this guy on your roster? And how much is he producing? So I think that the Washington Wizards, if they end up bringing back Russ and Beal, they got to shore up that bench. Ichimura has to come back better. Len has to come back better. They have a lot of holes. I personally didn't think that they were a playoff team last year, and they can't come back with the same group that they had. Then you have the Pacers, who are an anomaly, because the Pacers, their core is solid. The problem is they've been snake bitten. They've had injuries like you can't imagine. You know, T.J. Warren was out the lineup. That's 20 a game that's out the lineup that they no longer have. They're going to lose Dougie McBuckets or Doug McDermott. They're going to lose him in free agency. I'm not sure if you can let T.J. McConnell walk, because that's a heady point guard, a heady backup point guard off your bench who's a solid defender. I'm not sure if you could let him walk. But their core with Sabonis is just really good. It's just they've been snake bitten. T.J. Warren was hurt. Malcolm Brogdon is really good. Sabonis is really good. They've got a really good core. So the question is can they stay healthy with Miles Turner being the rim protector, who I was very surprised about him in terms of him being a defensive player of the year candidate. There was a time when he led the league in shot blocking, which a lot of people have a tendency to throw that off the track because those numbers could be inflated. But Miles Turner is an elite defender. No question about it. So with Turner, with Sabonis, with Brogdon, with T.J. Warren, you know, with those guys in the lineup, and if they could stay healthy, these guys can make a push in the playoffs. They can make a real push in the playoffs. Now, Charlotte has a little bit of an issue because Charlotte's got 6 guys like Miami that are unrestricted free agents, and Cody Zeller, Malik Monk, Biyombo, Wanamaker, and 5 guys. I'm sorry, and Devontae Graham. Now, when you're in a small market like that, you have to be very careful in how you distribute contracts because, you know, a bad contract can set you back years, especially when it's a guy, a marginal guy. A bad contract could set you back years. You see what happened with Nicholas Batum with them. So they got to be very careful with what they're doing. Now, do we let Cody Zeller walk? I think you can find something in free agency. I think Malik Monk is a solid role player. I love his game. I think you can let Biyombo walk. Brad Wanamaker is a solid vet, and I think that you can hold on to him. I think you can get something better than Devontae Graham. You know, he's a volume shooter who his field goal percentage isn't very high, and he needs a lot of shots to score. And I think you can do better than Devontae Graham. I absolutely do, because you already got your playmaker in. You already got your playmaker in Ball. You got Rozier under contract for another season, and if Gordon Hayward could stay healthy, you can actually make a push toward the playoffs and actually solidify a spot if Gordon Hayward can stay healthy. So that's huge for them. And then you have the Chicago Bulls. They have their core. And Zach LaVine, who's on the books for one more season, and Vujacic. Markin has regressed every season. I mean, his first season in the league, he was 15 a game. Then he went up to 19. Then he went back down to 15. And then he went back down to 14. Now, maybe that might have something to do with the instability with the coaching staff. You know, they just brought in Billy Donovan. And before that, they had another coach. So there may be something weird going on with the coaching staff that's hampering his game. And then he's got the tag of being soft. So we've got that issue. I don't understand why we have that issue because, you know, Vujacic isn't soft. And he's a Euro too. So Tice is a free agent. They got to bring him back. Garrett Temple is a solid vet. I think that you can hold on to him. I think you could lose Denzel Washington Denzel Valentine. I'm sorry. You could lose Denzel Valentine in free agency. I think you can get something better for him. So the Bulls have some holes to fill, but I don't think they're that far away from being a playoff team. I don't think that they're that far away from being a playoff team at all. Now, when you got teams like Cleveland and Orlando and then Detroit, I mean, I heard that Oklahoma City asked Detroit for the #1 pick, and they were offering their #6 pick and Shea. That means Oklahoma City sees something in this kid Cunningham that a lot of people don't. Like he's a building block. He looks like maybe a cornerstone to what you guys are trying to do. Cleveland they've just moved Sexton to the 2, so we don't exactly know what it is that they're doing in Cleveland. And they've got a lot of holes to fill, just like Detroit does. Orlando, on the other hand, they got a lot of young players. I think the problem with them is they haven't played together enough. And that's the problem with them. And I think that if they could get that group to play together a little longer and get some continuity and some solidarity, they may have a chance to make improvements. But otherwise, they're going to be in the same position and teams like Orlando, teams like Cleveland, Minnesota, teams like that, they have to build it through the draft. Otherwise, they're going to be at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. So they can't miss, Orlando can't miss this coming draft. So, all right, guys, what I'm going to do is tomorrow, I'm going live. I'm going live tomorrow night. We're going to talk about the draft. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Eastern Conference, and we're going to throw some Western Conference in there too. So, until then, take it light, but take it.